All-State Radiovision Corporation, OSRC, has stood as more than a media organization. It is an institution established by law in 1976, shortly after the creation of Ondo State, and swinging into full operation.
We must also prioritize profit, for it is the lifeblood of any successful organization. We will adopt modern marketing strategies that leverage technology and data analytics to reach our target audience, increase our market share, and drive revenue growth. Transparency will be our watchword.
In broadcasting, content begins with power. Without power, there is no signal. Without signal, there is no content. Before now, power instability frequently disrupted production schedules, damaged equipment, and interrupted live on that the leadership of the DGCE OSRC took a decisive step forward: the upgrade of its electricity supply to Band A on the national grid. This strategic intervention restored reliability, reduced downtime, and provided the stable energy foundation required for modern broadcasting. Beyond stability, the upgrade to Band A electricity delivered another critical gain: cost efficiency. Before this intervention, OSRC relied heavily on diesel-powered generators to sustain daily operations, placing enormous financial strain on the corporation. Today, with improved grid reliability, diesel dependency has dropped drastically, leading to significant reductions in operational costs. Resources once consumed by constant generator use are now redirected towards content production, equipment maintenance, staff welfare, and institutional growth.
February this year, the DG facilitated and get installed a 500 kVA power substation with more than a kilometer of strings of wires of 11 kV line. And since then, we have been enjoying that, and that is happening after 20 years that we have been off the grid. For more than 20 years, OSRC, especially OSRC, we have been on diesel, and I mean we have been running on generator. That's a lot of money on monthly basis. Around this time last year, despite the fact that we are not doing 24 hours, despite the fact that we are not even doing 19 hours of service of broadcasting, the station spent close to 24 million naira to buy diesel alone. Not talk of generator maintenance, because their generators are maintained every 200 hours, and each of the generator must be maintained twice in a month at a rate of nothing less than 300 to 350,000 naira. So twice we have two of those generators. It means that in a month we are spending about 1.4 million naira just to service the generator alone. That excludes the times when we have major repairs that have to be done on the generator. So by the time you're adding 1.4 million naira to about 28 million naira of diesel, we are more than 30 million naira on monthly basis just for power supply alone. We've not talked about any other thing. But immediately we have the grid on that is installed. Apart from the fact that we have a relatively stable power supply, our generators are now maintained sometimes once in a month or once in 2 months sometimes. Our diesel consumption are reduced. Even what the corporation now use in terms of cost of energy has reduced to almost half on a monthly basis. So it's a lot of relief, not only to the engineering department, but to the entire media house, media group, that will now have such an equipment.
What we met on ground was that we never connected, the OSRC media group was never connected to the national grid. For over 2.5 decades, the corporation was solely on diesel consumption. You know what that means? About 28 million naira to 30 million naira every month on diesel, consumption. That was a bad one. But they came in and said money was not provided for it. In fact, it wasn't. The budget was not, a helping matter. So he came in and I said, see, what we'll have to do now is to get this place connected to the national grid, so that at least there will be the consumption of diesel should be lessened somehow. And he spoke with Mr. Governor. Kind enough, Mr. Governor just said, okay, why not? Although the money was not made available immediately, this man, what he had to do was to go out on his own and got money to be able to execute this project within 1.5 months. We're connected to the national grid here. I mean, the Osrc, the corporation was connected, and that has positively impacted on what we do here.
Power, under this new framework, no longer drains resources. It drives sustainability. But the DGCE understood a critical truth. Even the best public power supply can falter.
And our viewers, that you just have to stay glued to your listening and viewing devices.
This UPS system now protects all recording studios, live television and radio studios, editing and post-production suite. During grid fluctuations, general changeovers, or sudden outrage, broadcasting continues without signal loss, data corruption, or abrupt shutdowns. To complete this uninterrupted power architecture, dedicated UPS systems were also installed for all transmitters, ensuring stability from studio to mast. Osrc now delivers uninterrupted service as a strategic initiative to deepen audience engagement, expand reach, and compete effectively in the evolving digital broadcasting landscape.
Another 200 kVA UPS was installed for our television transmitters, and that have kept the transmitter on all this while. It has reduced our downtime, it has reduced the break, the time breakage, that is the time of faults, the rate of faults on the transmitters.
In line with this development, recently, the DGCE initiated and implemented 24-hour live transmission precisely on October 1st, 2025, delivering continuous informative, entertaining, and intellectually engaging content. Today, Osrc is present day and night.
Osrc, for the first time in the history of broadcasting in Ondo State, and especially the government media houses, Osrc commenced 24 hours broadcasting. In those days, when we were young, it happens only between Christmas and New Year time. But it's not every day now in Ondo State. It's Christmas. Every day is New Year. It's festivity period. So, and we commenced 24 hours broadcasting, not just on one channel, on the 3 channels put together. And that is Osrc Television, Alola in 6.5 FM, and it's Orange 94.5 FM. From October 1st, our transmitters have been on, and our studios have been running.
The broadcasting in Osrc Media Group is now 24 hours. Now, before the decision was made by the DG that it has to come, although we had already been on Band A, that shouldn't be the fact that this our country, as things can come up, and at the end of the day we have epileptic power supply or outage of powers, sometimes, and that was why the DG said no. In order to complement the Band A, in order to complement his work, having been connected to the national grid, he had to bring in the UPS, that is the uninterrupted power supply, that stabilizes, the power outages, maybe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, instead of, our television going, blank, and we're not hearing, the people are not hearing on the radio, whether on Sunshine 96.5 or 94.5 Orange FM. The UPS stabilizes that for 10 minutes when the power is there, before the generator, will now come up again, in case the power isn't restored. So that is the mission, that's the vision of the DG. We are coming from three places now. We're coming from being connected to the national grid. The DG wasn't satisfied with that. I said the best thing is to bring in the UPS, the uninterrupted power supply, so that when that is done, okay, it stabilizes the inefficiency, the power outages, it stabilizes that for 30 minutes or 10 minutes as the case may be. And if it didn't, the light isn't, the power isn't restored as at when due, the power, the generator will be put on.
OSRC operates on a layered power ecosystem, Band A electricity reinforced by industrial UPS systems. Power no longer dictates content. Transmission no longer bows to darkness. In the digital age, relevance is defined by reach. Under the DGC's leadership, OSRC TV was successfully onboarded on Moplex digital satellite cable, extending Ondo State voice beyond terrestrial limits. And the journey continues with DSTV onboarding already in progress.
An uplink, a satellite uplink was installed, and that's taking our signals up into the skies. And Moplex, one of the digital platforms, satellite digital platform, was able to pick our signals, and it's now on their platform. So OSRC now transmit on channel Moplex digital platform on channel 720 with very clean, crystal clean KW computers to further increase the coverage area of the station.
To safeguard these assets, thunder arresters were installed across all transmission sites, protecting equipment from lightning strikes and power surges.
Before now, last year,
some of which tell the story of Ondo State itself. These materials are now being converted into digital files and broadcast-ready assets, safeguarding them from physical decay and repositioning them for modern use. Beyond restoration, the vision is future-facing. The construction of a 21st century digital library, a knowledge and content hub that supports production, research, documentary, storytelling, and digital broadcasting. From erased memory to preserved legacy, OSRC is reclaiming its past and securing its future. Beyond infrastructure and equipment, the transformation of OSRC under this administration recognizes a timeless truth: no content can rise above the capacity of the people who create it. Under the current administration, staff welfare moved from the margins to the center. Promotion exercises, long overdue, were facilitated and concluded, with affected staff all duly promoted. Casualization was addressed through the upgrading and prompt payment of salaries for contract and casual workers. For the first time in 6 to 7 years, OSRC conducted recruitment into the civil service, strengthening manpower across departments. Through strategic engagement and intervention, the DGCE ensured that new staff received their salaries in the same month they assumed duty, breaking the long-standing culture of 3 months or 6 months in some cases, probation period of work without monthly salary, creating an historic and unprecedented milestone.
What has he been able to do about that? He had to call directly because of his connection. Somebody said, somebody said, your network determines your net worth. The people you meet determines your, the level you'll be operating. It was just a call. He told them, these people came in just November, says, sir, I would like these people to get their salary. It has never happened. At least you spend 3 months so that they can go home with their family and enjoy that the fact that, okay, they have just been employed, yet the salary came as at when due.
In a deliberate move to strengthen human capital, the DGC approved an institutionalized regular in-house training program for staff across departments, engineering, production, newsroom, marketing, and administration. These capacity building sessions are designed to upgrade skills, improve professionalism, and align staff competence with modern broadcast standards, particularly in the digital era, by investing in the growth of its workforce. The DGCE has reinforced a culture of continuous learning, ownership, and excellence, positioning OSRC not just as a media house but as a training ground for broadcasting professionals. It is leadership that understands that when people grow, institutions thrive. In addition, operational and administrative requisitions now receive prompt approvals, removing bureaucratic delays that once hindered productivity. No doubt, media sustainability requires revenue. To strengthen the profit part of the PPP transformative agenda, the DGCE revitalized the marketing department, beginning with the reconstruction of the marketing office at Okeeda Akure, previously gutted by fire and reduced to ground zero. From ruins to renewal, the marketing arm was repositioned to drive income, partnerships, and long-term sustainability. From unstable power to uninterrupted transmission, from erased archives to a digital future, from limited reach to global visibility, from staff uncertainty to institutional confidence, Honorable Kenneth Odushola Stevenson stands out as a visionary broadcast and a media expert, redefining leadership in state-owned broadcasting. This is more than reform. It is restoration. It is hope. In all, the story of OSRC's rebirth is a testament to the power of right leadership. We must acknowledge His Excellency Governor Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa, whose discernment in appointing a visionary leader like Honorable Kenneth Odushola Stevenson, who has registered his footprint in OSRC Media Group. Under the governor's watchful support and the DG's expert execution, OSRC Media Group is not just back on its feet, it is leading the way.